Alright, everybody, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Crystalline Shadows, Ironsowrn, Starforged. We last left off with our protagonist, Ash, trying to get to this planet. What's the planet name again? The settlement is Farpoint, Morricone. So we're going to Farpoint because that's where the Scarlet Shards are. At least that's where they have potentially fled. Although it might be a lie now that we've experienced some stuff, because it is we have found ourselves in an ambush. Ash came out of a debris field that he was using as a shortcut to try and jump quicker to Farpoint. Maybe get a little bit less time on the travel, and on the far side of that he found himself in an ambush. And we did roll to enter the fray at the end of our last episode, and we got a weak hit, and I went back and double checked. We increased our momentum, so we are currently in a bad spot, which changes what we do. I realized I misspelled this title. There. Anyone that bothered, I fixed it. So we are gonna have to deal with this. I believe we set it to troublesome, yep, to get through. So we have to get through this. So let's check out our moves here. You do different moves when you're in a bad spot, because it means you are not in control of the situation. So when you are in control, so gain ground is not that. I think clash and react under fire are when you're in the bad spot. When you're in the bad spot and fight back in close quarters or a distance. Okay, so this is your basic combat move when you're not in a good spot. But react under fire, I think, is also an option, which might make more sense here. When you are in a bad spot and take action in a fight to avoid danger or overcome an obstacle, envision your approach and roll. So if we're fleeing, dodging, roll plus edge. Remaining stalwart against fear and temptation, that's not accurate. Blocking or diverting with force, probably not. Changing the plan, finding a way out. See, I want to try and use wits if I can justify it, because that's our best thing. Wits or edge is probably, we don't have any sort of like special shields or anything like that. I think that's a special thing. Let me see here. Reinforced hull. Yeah, shields and reinforced hull are special modules for the ship that we don't have. So we don't have any extra defenses to put up for iron. I think we're gonna have to roll with edge, because we are gonna be, I think, getting back into position. There's 3 of them and 1 of us, so an open fight in space is probably not great. We might get lucky and dodge, stuff like that, but that's a lot to deal with. So I think we're gonna flip around and go back in the debris field and try and put ourselves in a better position to use some cover and whatnot in order to calm this situation down, or at least make it a little bit more manageable. So, roll plus edge for react under fire. And that is somehow a strong hit with our +1. So, on a strong hit, you can see you are in control and take +1 momentum. So our momentum goes up to 7. Let me react under fire and save that. I did go back through when I was editing the video and make little notes of everything that happened, so if we have to go back and look at it, we can see. So we are in control now. So that means instead of using Clash, we can use Gain Ground or Strike. So we need to Strike or Gain Ground. Let's see. When you mark. Okay, so that just got us back under control. So now we need to do something to make progress. I think we're just gonna strike. Well, either way, it's probably going to be plus edge. Yeah, so we're gonna strike. We're gonna roll plus edge again to strike and see if we can deal some damage on these guys. They I think they've got smaller ships. Because we marked this as troublesome, so their stuff isn't as big and sturdy as ours. Ours is meant for someone to have to potentially deal with a bunch of different situations. So we have probably a lot of empty rooms right now, but we've got a nice big armed ship that's automated and meant to be versatile for our varying needs. So hopefully that will give us an advantage against these small pursuit craft that they've probably come after us in. And that is a weak hit. When you are in control and assault a foe at a distance, roll plus edge. On a weak hit, mark progress twice, but you expose yourself to danger. You're in a bad spot. Okay, so we mark progress twice. Wish there was a way to just mark a whole box. Maybe I'll see if I can suggest that some sort of... Oh, there is like a mark. Look at that. I'm just a moron. Never mind, guys. They did think of that. Sweet. So, now we are... So I think we get one of them, obviously. We, or well, you know, we'll say there's 3 of them that we've seen so far, because you know you never know what happens when you roll to end the fight. But we got 2 out of the 3 of them. Maybe one of them ran into we take off into the debris field, and one of them tries to follow us and isn't paying enough attention and scrapes some of the debris and takes themselves out, and we manage to flip around some cover and come up behind another one and take him out with a couple of quick shots. And all we've got left is the one. I don't think Ash is super bloodthirsty. Like he's reacting to a threat. So I think we're in a bad spot now. I think they're behind us. We're in the debris field. I think we're gonna react under fire, and we're gonna roll edge. I don't think I can justify plus heart. Changing the plan, fine. No, I'm gonna roll plus wits, because what we're gonna do is we're going... See, it's finding a way out or fleeing. Like these are similar. I think plus edge. Roll again. Finding a way out would be like, I don't know a way out, so we have to come up with a solution. This is just putting on the gas and going. So we're gonna roll plus edge. We are going to just try and get away and give this person a chance to maybe if there were some sort of safety measures, they can collect their friends. Maybe they saw the other 2 go down, and we're giving them an option to either let us go, or if they don't, try and get away without just outright slaughtering everyone. We've done some damage. Let's try and get out without doing more and risking more. We are going to roll plus edge one more time. And that is a miss with a match. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, I believe There's a combat oracle under miscellaneous, it says. Here we go. Combat action. Wonderful. Okay, so let's see what this person does, or what this suggests at least. Perform a feint or a trick. Okay. Okay, so obviously we don't get away. I think they let us think we got away. Ash puts on the gas and they don't follow. And we're gonna pull out of our character's POV as our starship zooms away. As the, what's the name of it? I know I named it the Stellar Hawk. Zooms away, and I'm gonna say we turn on our E drive and make a little jump. Which I think it's called an Eidolon drive. I don't know if I ever explained that in the session 0. But it's like our version of hyperdrive or slip space drive or whatever you want to call it. It's our faster than light engine that we make short jumps with. So we punch the E drive, and before we jump into our little pathway, not pathway, that's the specific thing, but our Eidolon space, we see something with a nice ominous red blinking light attached to the hull. So we think we got away. We think Ash thinks this combat's over. But there are I think there are going to be people on the other end. So we're going to hold off on the punishment for this miss with a match, and just keep that combat open. And we're going to make the where is it? Here we go. Purple. Going to make the undertake an expedition move. And I think we're going to roll that. I think we're going to roll it with edge, because we are just trying to get there fast, because it's obviously edge has never failed us before with our whole 1 point. So we are gonna roll to see if we can get to far point now that we think we've given them the slip. And it's another miss. So on a weak hit, you choose either you face a peril of the waypoint, or I think we're gonna have to do both. I think we're gonna suffer en route, or we're gonna suffer a cost, and we're gonna face a peril as the. So we don't even get a chance to check out what's going on. We jump in. We don't mark. Let's see here. On a weak, that's on a weak. On a miss, you are waylaid by a crisis or arrive at a waypoint to confront an immediate hardship or threat. Do not mark progress and pay the price. So I'm gonna say we have gotten within at least scanner sight of the planet. We've got our little radar, and the little blip is there. We can't really see it yet, physically, like out our windows and stuff. But what we can see, both physically and on our radar, is more ships. That little thing that was attached to us, that was a tracking beacon. So there are more people. I think we are going to up this from troublesome to dangerous. That's something I like to do, is when things get good or get bad and doesn't make sense to just mark progress or something like that, is to increase the difficulty or decrease the difficulty as appropriate. So I think we've got more ships and more stuff, and that hit we're gonna take, we're gonna suffer 2 hit to our spirit, as our hopes are just dashed, and there's a bunch of ships coming right towards us. We're in a bad spot. We are going to react under fire. I think now we can justify rolling plus wits, because we are looking for anything that might help us. Any weakness in their formation, any sort of you know what? hold on. I need to remember how this game works. On a weak hit as above, but your progress costs you choose. Okay. Change of plans. Getting ahead of myself. We're still, we're gonna burn our momentum to turn this, into a weak hit. Okay. Because what we're gonna do is we're still gonna have, the danger. So we're not gonna suffer our spirit damage. We're gonna save the new roll real quick. So we did get to the planet. We marked progress. We're still gonna up this to dangerous as a thing but we have marked progress on our journey to get to Farpoint. So we've got that. That's a nice little animation of it like blinking stars into it. I like it. Anyway, I digress. So we still arrive to find that people are waiting for us. The tracking beacon is still there from that miss with a match. But we're much closer to the planet. So I think what we're just gonna do, instead of being in this really bad situation, we're in a bad spot, but the planet's in reach. So we need to react under fire. And we are going to try to just I think, see, wits and edge seems an overlap. I'm gonna roll with wits because I think trying to get to the planet, get into atmosphere and land to turn this into a ground chase counts as changing the plan. So we're not a fighter pilot. We're not, you know, young Anakin Skywalker, the best star pilot in the galaxy or whatever. We are, we're a boots on the ground type of person. So Ash is gonna try and get his boots on the ground by reacting under fire and changing the plan. Let's see if he can accomplish that. And he cannot. We pay the price. Pay the price. I think the obvious answer is that our vehicle suffers damage. That's 2. I think you're supposed to suffer based on the amount of harm you do, the level of the threat. We're in a even if it's not, we're in a really bad spot. So yeah, we have, I think we get shot up quite badly, where our starship is on the last leg, as we try to run for it. Man, what do we do here? We've got no momentum. We've got ashes. Not great in a space fight. Okay. Idea. We are where our ship is almost dead in the water. Ash doesn't want to lose the Stellar Hawk. He's not in position for a crash landing. So he is going to turn on his distress beacon and send out a surrender. And this isn't react under fire, I don't think. I don't think this is a combat. This is a secure and advantage. I think makes sense here. We're gonna try and bluff our way out of this. We are going to, not much better than edge, but it might put us in a better situation. So this is gonna kind of be like a react under fire with deception. So I'm gonna count it. I'm gonna roll for a secure and advantage, essentially. We are going to false surrender. I don't think the Geneva Convention exists, and even if it did, we're not a country, so I don't think those rules apply. So we are going to roll a secure an advantage with Shadow to try and draw them in. And that is a weak hit. On a hit you succeed, strong hit you take both, weak hit you take one. We are going to take +2 momentum. And now if I make that behave like a react under fire. On a weak hit you avoid most of the danger or overcome the obstacle, but not without a cost, make a suffer move. So we took a different benefit, but I'm going to say we're still in a bad spot. So we're going to need to clash. Yes. Okay. So we cut our engines, we hit our distress beacon, we send out a radio ping of like basically surrendering and saying they can come aboard and take us. But we're gonna, we're gonna be waiting by the door with our sword ready to grab as soon as they come in, and we're gonna try and we tried to give these guys a chance to leave us alone. Maybe we should have tried to bargain with them, but that's hard to do when they just shoot at you on sight. So we're going to, we're going to let them, we'll say there's 2 ships. It makes sense that we probably have multiple airlocks for them to attach to. And so we are going to wait for them in like the central corridor between those airlocks. And as soon as we see them, we are going to hope that they aren't prepared for a fight, although they probably will be, because we're still in a bad spot, so they're absolutely still prepared to fight. So we're going to roll Clash plus Iron, our first time of actually letting us use our sword, which means we also, when you clash or strike in close quarters, add +1 on a strong hit with a match your unstoppable mark progress. So we are going to roll +1 Iron, and that is a weak hit, and we can't do anything about it with our low momentum. So on a weak hit you mark progress, but you are dealt a counter blow or setback. You stay in a bad spot and must pay the price. Okay, I think obvious price here, we take a hit to our health. I think 1 is appropriate for this situation. And then we are going to, we have to mark progress here, because I think we injure at least one of them, or outright take them down. So what does take decisive action say about this? This is the end of the fight move when you're trying to win. When you seize an objective in a fight, envision how you take decisive action, then roll the challenge dice and compare your progress. If you are in control, check the results as normal. If you're in a bad spot, count a strong hit without a match as a weak hit, and a weak hit is a miss. Okay. So we're gonna roll our progress. So the way you roll against progress is you roll 2d10 like normal, but instead of rolling a die to determine your check number, it counts as your progress. So we have an 8, which got us a weak hit last time. Let's see if rolling progress to defeat, we're going to take decisive action and try to end this fight against the agents. So here we go. It is a weak hit. And it says, if you are in a bad spot, count a weak hit as a miss. On a miss, your final effort is undone through a surprising turn of events or dramatic failure, and you must pay the price. If this was the only objective, the fight is lost. Envision what that means, and the cost you must pay as appropriate to your objective and the intentions of your foes. So we have lost our first combat, which happens. Unfortunately. We're going to delete that. And I think it means we are taken prisoner. think they're going to use their, I think we're taken prisoner, and we're going to be taken down to the planet. Okay, so we find ourselves in a pickle. We have, Ash has been taken captive. He tried to goad them into a sword fight, and it went okay, but I think what happens is they get onto the ship, and I'm sure he's had plenty of time to practice fighting on his own ship. They so he gets the jump on one of them, knocks him good, takes him out of the fight, turns to fight the other one. This other one's giving him some trouble. Maybe we'll say they've got a blade of their own. Maybe something shorter, something smaller. That gives them more of an advantage in the confines of space of a spaceship. And turns out the other one that he knocked out wasn't actually out. He was just they were just, you know, stunned temporarily. And then it becomes a 2-on-1 with him in the middle. This other person knows how to handle a blade, and he just gets jumped by two of them. Loses his sword, gets grabbed, gets pulled down to the ground. We'll say they choke him out or something, so he's knocked unconscious. However, they are going to take us down to the planet to talk to people, or I think where they're going to hold us. Because I don't think this is a very organized spot right now. But we will roll to end our expedition. Where is finish an expedition? So this is another progress move, rolling to get to Farpoint. And that's a strong hit. On a strong hit, you reach your destination or complete your survey. Marker award on your discoveries track per the expedition's rank. So this was troublesome. So we get discoveries. We get 2 mark. 1 tick. And the way these tracks work is every time you fill a box, you get 2 XP. And then you can use that to level up your character by either getting a new asset or leveling them up to get more effects. So we got one from all that. We got one. So let's check our other stuff here. Find the base of the Scarlet Shards. We did finish our expedition. So we're gonna mark progress for that. However, we didn't defeat the people. Otherwise that might have been more progress for us. We might have been able to get some information off them or something like that. So we have gotten to Farpoint, but we're not doing great. Okay, so we're gonna do a scene challenge for this, which is basically like a non-combat challenge clock. So when you begin a scene, you do the usual of rank and challenge. You also set a tension clock of 4 segments to represent the gains made by your opponents or the advancement of looming threat or a deadline. Okay, so escape capture. I'm gonna say this is dangerous. So it's gonna be a little challenging. They took all of our stuff. We don't know where we're at. We don't know where our ship's at. And this is that wrong interrogation. We'll see how that changes. So we've got this tension clock, this 4 session tension clock that basically if this hits 0, we've failed to escape, and our interrogator has arrived. I think we wake up in a cell. We're not tied up, but all of our gear is gone. We're stripped to our, you know, generic sci-fi underclothes of nondescript make. I think because of where we're at, just to add a little flavor, it's like a natural fiber shirt and probably long pants. I don't think they would have taken our pants off of us, but they took like our suit. They took our suit and our thing. Which, is that going to be a problem here? Do I have to get that back if I absolutely don't want to? Atmosphere is breathable, so we don't need our full suit. It will make other stuff in the sector difficult, so we'll see. Okay, there we go. It is the desert planet. Okay. So we're on a desert planet. We're contained in a building. This is probably it's a small settlement, I think. Yeah, hundreds. And we don't know anything about it really. So this is probably just a small group of people that broke away from purgatory or the settlement on or in Helia. So we're in a bad spot, but we're gonna get out of this. So do we do an initial roll? No, we don't. So we have to work on this. We have secure an advantage and face danger. I don't think this is like a jail. I think they've just locked us in a room in their safe house or something like that and are waiting to call for someone. So Ash is going to, he's going to take a minute. He's going to see what's in the room that he might be able to use. He's going to see, he's going to maybe listen at the door, poke his head out, see what is around there. So we're going to secure an advantage with observation, so with wits. So let me get my dice back. Secure an advantage with wits. Roll. Strong hit. Awesome. So that means we get 2 momentum. So our momentum's back up to 6. We get +1 on our next move. Our next move is going to be face danger. So we see, I think we look around and there isn't anyone in the immediate area. We're going to face danger. And when we face danger, I think step 1 is to try and get our stuff back. Because if we run into trouble, we can fight a lot better if we've got a sword. Because if we don't have a sword, our Blade Master stuff doesn't come into it. So even if we can't find our sword, maybe we can find a knife at least. Would be nice. Resolve, command, strength, endurance, deception, stealth. I think we're gonna, because we didn't see anyone, and we've got +1 from our secure an advantage. Let's roll plus wits, and to try and we're gonna look around and take our time unless we hear someone coming to get our stuff. So let's see. Wits +1. A weak hit. Okay. On a weak hit, you are successful and mark progress, but also encounter a complication or setback. Envision what occurs and fill a segment clock. So we mark progress, but we also fill a clock segment. So, okay, there we go. We just click it. So I think the obvious thing is we skulk around a bit. Skulk is probably a bit much for what Ash can accomplish. Ash takes a look around, uses some inductive reasoning to try and guess where his stuff's at, and manages to find it. Gets his suit on, gets his blade in hand, and then gets his suit in hand, gets his suit on, gets his blade ready, and then he hears the door open, and he hears the people talking. They're just kind of chattering back and forth. I don't think they're gonna go check on him right away. He was probably smart. We'll say he was smart enough to close the door. But he's at like the back of this building in like some storage room. And they're coming back with like food or something like that. So he's stuck. And let's see here. He doesn't have much to work with. No special assets to do anything with. So I don't want to get into combat. I don't have any sort of expertise to use. I think we're going to try and cause a diversion. We're in their supply room. There's got to be something in here that we can use, right? So we're going to roll plus shadow to try and create a diversion. That's that. Miss. And we can't do anything about it. So first off we mark our clock 2 out of 4 as person gets closer. We have I think the go-to distraction is to set a fire. And I think we succeed in setting the fire, but I think Ash's lack of chemistry is lacking, and he's just remembering one time in school where his buddy in chemistry was like, yeah, if you mix this and you mix that, it blows up and it catches on fire. And he forgot the it blows up part of that, and he's just like, yeah, I'll do this, it'll start a fire, and then I'll wait for them to notice it and slip out, and instead it blows up in his face. I think we're gonna take a little bit of harm for that, actually. And you know what, I'm also going to, for our failure, I think that's too punishing. I was thinking about maybe reducing our supply. Like they took our stuff, but they wouldn't have had time to really raid the place yet, especially if they were setting us up and getting food and calling in their boss. But yeah, they hear the explosion, they come running. We're gonna have to book it. So we're gonna do another face danger with speed, mobility, or agility, and just try to get out of here. And pray we roll better with edge. We've gotten really lucky with edge, and we've gotten really unlucky. So maybe it's just he's not good at being sneaky and stealthy. So let's see if Ash can just, just kick up dirt and make tracks. Okay, weak hit, mark progress, but in a complication or a setback, envision what occurs and fill a segment clock. Okay, so fill a clock, but we do mark progress. So there's that. So they come running, we just blow past them. They don't know what's going on. They don't realize we're out yet. Door's still closed. So I think we just shoulder check our way between these two guys. Ash just muscles them out of the way, and then bolts for the door what he assumed was the front door. And I think we are going to secure an advantage here. We are going to look for something to help us. I have an idea in mind if we are successful. So let's try and see if we can find anything. I think as we bust our way out. Rolling plus wits. A weak hit. On a weak hit, choose one. 2 momentum or +1 to your next move. We have been getting a lot of bad rolls, so getting that momentum up to 8 would be nice. But we're going to be rolling with edge, probably. The face danger. Oh, we're going to take +1 on our next move and hope that we roll high enough. So what I'm thinking is Ash busts out the door. It's blasted with the heat of this desert planet. He has to look around. He sees some old building materials and grabs like a cinder block and a pipe or something like that, or a board, and like wedges it under the door handle. It's not gonna hold, you know, in the sand, but he like puts like a block down and then wedges the board between the door and the block, so it's got a little bit of stability. It'll hold for a second. It'll give him, you know, a little bit more of a chance to get away. I think his ship's probably parked nearby. This is probably just some, you know, remember there's only hundreds of people here, so this is like maybe a small village. They might not even, they're probably not even by the village. This is some, like an abandoned farm or some other sort of abandoned facility in the middle of nowhere. He sees their two ships and his ship. But we also have to make see here, how many? 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that is the scene clock. So what happens when this clock is done here? When the tension clock is filled, time's up. You must finish the scene by making a progress roll against your objective. You will also finish the scene when the progress track is filled, or if the narrative in your accumulated progress is guiding the challenge to a conclusion. Okay, so we the clock is filled. We've got +1 on our next move though. Oh, but it says not a progress move. All right, well, we've got that +1 banked. We need to roll against our 4 progress here. As we see another ship coming in. The boss man has arrived, or the boss woman, whoever it ends up being. Our interrogator, or our next leg in captivity, has arrived. So let's see if we successfully escape capture. We are currently sprinting across the desert sand. Ash is digging in. He's kicking up sand as he runs. You know, breathing hard into that respirator that's working overtime to filter out all that hot air and desert sand to hopefully give him just that little bit extra he might need to get there, as another ship, probably the same size as the Stellar Hawk. This person, you know, they're a higher up in the organization. They've got the nice fancy ship. Do we escape capture? A strong hit. So that was to finish the scene. When a scene challenge tension clock progress track is filled, when the events lead to the scene's conclusion, roll the challenge dice and compare to your progress. On a strong hit, you achieve your objective unconditionally. So we have escaped. Their ship is touching down. As we're running up the boarding ramp, we slam our Ash slams his fist on the button to close it, remotely activates the takeoff, the warm up. The engines kick on as he slams himself down in the pilot seat, and I think we'll do some character rolls here on the Oracle. I think because obviously the boss is not going to leave us to just let us go. Let me just make sure real quick. Okay, we don't get any sort of progress track reward for that, so nothing on our legacies or anything. So we've escaped capture successfully, and as we're taking off, we get our first look at this person. I did actually do a custom pronouns oracle, so we may not be able to tell. Let's see here. They, them. So I think because, you know, it's a desert planet. So I think they're all wrapped up, got their face covered, long clothes. It's just we can't really tell. There's no obvious at least indication right now of a gender. And they will go by they them later on, once if we get that. Saving it to the right cell for right now. So first look, obviously the disposition is going to be hostile. Yeah, we're just gonna say hostile. And we'll do a first look, maybe see if there's any details at all we could pick out. Flashy. Okay, so even though they're all covered up, maybe we can see that they've got like some nice high quality boots and gloves, or maybe not, maybe their hands are uncovered and we see some rings. And obviously they've got that nice big ship, so maybe it's a fancy ship. It's you know, it's not just the duct tape special that the other guys got that chased us down, but it is a it's a nice shiny expensive model, and that's all we really know about them. So we'll save that to Farpoint. Just random person, no name, no nothing. As we get into the sky, our thrusters kick in and we kick up a bunch of sand as Ash takes off, and the people on the ground, the door bursts open just in time for them to get, you know, sand blasted. Their boss kind of shields their eyes and looks up at us, and Ash just whips it around and is gonna go find some secluded maybe a canyon or something like that to tuck himself away in. But there is, let's see here, remember where the move is. Quest, reach a milestone. So when you overcome a critical obstacle, you make progress. So we have made progress on finding their base. We're on the planet. I think that's 2 progress actually. Not only did we complete an expedition, we marked progress for that, but we also got away. So now we've just got to find the base. And that's technically all we have to do. We weren't ordered to take them out or anything like that. We were just ordered to find their location. So that is our current objective. Other objectives may come into play, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. So let's take a look at the planet now that we have a chance. You know, Ash is flying over top of it. So let's see here. Atmosphere is breathable. We didn't roll anything else, but now that we're doing now that we're kind of skimming across the surface in our ship, we need to see. So let's see here. Observe from space. Let's find 1 or 2. Rugged mountains. So it's a desert planet with big mountains. All right, makes sense. I think we'll just keep it at that, if that makes sense. Planet side features. Windborne metallic sand. Okay, makes sense for a desert planet. Oh, that's right. I think these oracles are specific to planet type, so thankfully we've got the thing. And as for our life, there is none. There's no life on this planet aside from ours. So, none. Rugged mountains and windborne metallic sand. So Ash is flying across this, and he sees some mountains, so he's gonna turn. He turns towards the mountains, and eventually that the sandy dunes gives way to more canyon-like, rocky, almost foothill type, and he's gonna tuck himself down into a canyon, maybe under like a rock overhang, in what used to be some big, like almost Grand Canyon style area from a river, and he's gonna take a second. It's been a day. He's gonna take a second. His ship, there's all kinds of red lights on the ship. We're in bad shape. Maybe we should stop to repair that before we do anything else. We're also kind of beat up. We're not as bad. But I think the ship, especially because he gets out to check the damage, and he sees like just sand drifts outside. He goes to like the edge of the overhang and kind of runs it through his hands, and he can see the shiny metallic, so it's just gonna shred anything that's out there caught in a dust storm if it kicks up. So he wants to patch up the damage on the Hawk before it gets, because if it gets all this sanded stuff in it, it's gonna be bad. So I think there is a specific move for that repair. Here we go. When you make repairs to your vehicles, modules, or mechanical components and other devices, envision the situation and roll. If we are making our own repairs, we're gonna roll plus wits, which is good. Apparently Ash is good at repairing their ship, so they can get out some tools. We are in the field, so on a hit, you gain repair points as appropriate to the situation per the table below. You may sacrifice resources in exchange for one supply for one extra repair point. So we let's roll this real quick and see what we do, see what we get. A weak hit. Okay. We are in the field, so on a weak hit we get 1 point. Spend the repair points as follows. Unused points are discarded. Fix one broken module. Take 1 health for a mechanical companion. Take 1 integrity for a vehicle. Repair any other device but with a complication or a malfunction. So I can get 1 integrity for my vehicle. I am going to spend, what do we think? We're on a desert planet, so spending supplies is going to be probably not going to be able to resupply until we get off this planet, or until we find their base. We might be able to scrounge up some stuff in their base if we end up chasing them out or something like that. So we are going to, let's say 2. So we got a weak hit in the field, so we have 1 point. I'm going to spend 2 more supply, take us down to 3, to get 3 points back. 2, 3. So I think it's just, I think that represents more just time we're taking rather than physical supplies. It's probably a lot of welding and a lot of hammering out dents before they become actual problems and stuff like that, taking off panels, kind of flattening them back out real quick and putting them back in, adding a few more beauty marks to our already well-loved ship, and then Ash go, because it's it's the desert. He needs a nap. Being knocked unconscious and waking up, probably just thrown on the floor or something like that in the room that he was in, did not do. Oh, actually, real quick, because that was supposed to be +1 on our next roll, so that wouldn't have helped us anyway, because it would have taken us to a 5. So that's fine. He's had a rough day. Ash has had a rough day, so it's they're gonna go and crash. They probably they have this like standing little shower cubby that they just go in and just get all the grime and stuff that is from combat and being kidnapped and running and then working out in this desert heat Even if he's in the shade and protected, it's probably still dirty and messy work. So he takes a minute, cleans himself up. I think technically that would be like hearten, but that's for spirit and stuff, so we don't need to heal. Do we want to heal? Do we want to patch ourselves up? When you mend your own wheels, roll iron or witch, whichever is lower. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna mend my own wounds. Well, we've got the chance here. We're gonna roll plus iron because that's lower. Ash has cleaned himself up, and it takes a second. He realizes I've been. He got a bit cut up and injured, and he's got a nice bruise around his throat where he was choked out. So he's just gonna take some painkillers, maybe patch up a cut or a stab wound or something. So that is plus iron, and that is a strong hit. On a strong hit, the care is helpful. Clear any impact or take 2 health. Otherwise, take or give 3 health. So I am full up with no cost to my resources and stuff. So just some minor damage and a nap. So a quick first aid and some sleep, and then we're back at it. I think we're gonna call it there. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this, give us a like and a subscribe so you can come back for the next time when we track down the Scarlet Shards base in Farpoint. Until then, y'all have a lovely day.